22 years ago, my parents cast me out in 11th grade for being pregnant, branding me a failure and slamming the door in my face. Today, they appeared at my doorstep in Austin, pounding as if they owned it, demanding, "Let us see the child, our grandchild." I opened the door, my hand steady despite the fury raging within, and delivered a truth they never anticipated. "What child? Who are you?" Their faces paled, eyes wide with shock as the words lingered like a well-deserved strike. But this was merely the beginning. Over those 22 years, I had built something untouchable, waiting for this moment to unleash a plan that would unravel everything they valued. They believed suing me would bend my will, claiming rights to a legacy they abandoned. They were mistaken. What followed exposed their avarice, turned their allies against them, and left them pleading for mercy they would not receive. This tale of retribution is for anyone who has imagined perfect justice against those who betrayed them. The doorstep confrontation tore open scars long buried. The deepest wound came from my parents' betrayal. Patrick and Andrea Norton, their faces contorted with disdain when I revealed the pregnancy test in our Austin living room, the air heavy with their judgment. "You're no longer our daughter," Dad said, his voice icy as he adjusted his watch, as if I were a failed investment. His gaze avoided mine, rendering me invisible. Mom didn't raise her voice, but inspected her manicure while saying, "We expected more from you, not this disgrace that taints our reputation." Her words cut deeper than any scream. They gave me 10 minutes to pack, turning our family portrait face down as if erasing my existence. The frames clink against the mantel rang like a final judgment. I grabbed clothes, a few dollars from my savings, and a hidden necklace. The door locked behind me with finality, leaving me alone in the Texas night. Derek Sloan's abandonment struck next. The boy who had whispered vows under the stars at our high school prom, his hand on my waist feeling like eternity. "Oh, you," he said when I first told him over the phone, his tone steady at first. Days later, his number was blocked, his parents' lawyers sending a letter denying everything and threatening legal action if I reached out again. His college future outweighed our shared promises, leaving me alone with the fear growing inside. His silence burned because he had been my refuge from home. Austin streets became my ordeal. Sleeping on benches in Zilker Park, conserving tears to preserve strength, the humid air clinging to my skin as I evaded stares from strangers. Each rejection fueled the fire, from my parents' dismissal that stripped my identity to Derek's cowardice that left me exposed. On that cold bench, I learned trust was brittle, and people could discard you like refuse. As dawn broke over the park, I vowed to make them pay, not with consuming rage, but with calculated precision, turning their greed against them step by step. Kayla Rodas entered my life then, a widow in her 70s walking her aging dog at dawn, her cashmere coat stark against my tattered jacket. Her sharp yet kind eyes noticed me curled up. "You're freezing, child," she said, her Texas accent warm, seeing through my claims of being fine as I tried to deflect. She sat with me as I broke down, holding me as if I mattered. Her hand on my back, steady when everything trembled, offered, "Come have breakfast with me and Max." No questions asked. Her car smelled of lavender. The drive to her grand home in downtown Austin felt like salvation from despair. The heated seats warmed my numb body. Kayla didn't just offer shelter in one of her hotel rooms. She became my guide, teaching survival and strategic vengeance over morning coffee, saying, "Build yourself so strong they regret ever abandoning you. Use their flaws as weapons." From hostess at her hotel chain to learning inventory, scheduling, and profit margins in her office, she showed how to transform pain into strength. Her business lessons veiled deeper teachings in patience and retribution, preparing for the day they'd return. Her investigators, unknown to me, already probing their lives. Kayla's guidance became my bedrock. She started me as a hostess at her downtown Austin hotel chain, demonstrating how to read guests' expressions for vulnerabilities and turn complaints into loyalty with practiced charm. Her gestures animated as she explained the power of a well-timed smile. I absorbed every detail, from managing shifts to spotting profit drains, not just to survive, but to forge an unbreakable shield against those who harmed me. Each shift honed resilience against demanding guests. Her office sessions went beyond business, emphasizing patience as the key to outlasting adversaries, her voice firm as she shared tales of outsmarting rivals in the hospitality industry. One evening, amid stacks of papers while updating her will, she introduced Shaw Barrett, her lawyer with steady eyes and a talent for finding contract loopholes. His handshake was firm as he joined us. "He's not just for paperwork," Kayla said over coffee that turned into strategy sessions. "He's for safeguarding against surprises." Sean became part of my circle, his counsel refining my plans. From trust structures that secured assets to evidence trails that could ensnare the careless in their own words. Then Shannon Lyle joined from the hotel's IT desk, her expertise in tracking digital footprints turning casual chats into surveillance lessons. Her fingers danced over keyboards as she demonstrated firewalls. We connected over late-night system fixes, her teaching me how to monitor without leaving traces. This team became my armor against past ghosts. After the miscarriage struck, leaving me empty for weeks, Kayla guided me through adoption at a Texas shelter. Her contacts expedited paperwork as we visited. I found Austin Norton, a baby with curious eyes mirroring my determination. His tiny hands grasped mine, as if sensing our bond. I named him after the city that broke and rebuilt me. Raising him with love and strategy, enrolling him in coding camps early to sharpen his mind into something undeniable. His first program at 8 signaled the potential I'd nurture. His knack for building apps by 10, solving real problems, was no accident but my design. I knew his success would one day draw them out like predators to prey, their envy exposing their weaknesses. Kayla wove everything into preparation. Her will fortified with clauses barring abandoned kin from claims. The safe's code tied to Austin's adoption date for symbolism that grounded me daily. Video recordings in her study captured her warnings about greed's blind spots. Her face stern as she spoke to the camera about those who forsake family. We rehearsed scenarios over dinner at her home, her role-playing their excuses with eerie precision to teach counter-strategies. Her sharp laughter rang when I mastered a response. I built my empire brick by brick, expanding hotel operations and investing in Austin's tech boom, standing tall enough to overshadow their lives. Each milestone advanced the plan she helped craft. The trap was set, and they fell for it precisely as planned. I began by leaking stories to Austin Tech blogs about Austin's innovative software that streamlined hotel operations. Crafting anonymous tips with specifics of his algorithms ensured viral coverage in business circles where my parents lingered. The articles exploded online within hours, headlines proclaiming a local prodigy revolutionizing the industry, amassing thousands of shares and comments I monitored. The ripple effect reached them through shared contacts. Days later, a sleek tablet arrived at my desk with a card from my parents. "For our gifted grandson, time to reconnect." I returned it with a note. "This stirs too many painful memories," my handwriting deliberately shaky. On their follow-up call, my voice trembled just enough. Why now, after years of silence? Making them think I was vulnerable and ripe for manipulation. Shannon tracked their online activity instantly. Her tools flagged every search for Austin's name from their IP addresses, capturing screenshots of their visits to Texas family law sites and forums on reclaiming estranged kin. We documented everything meticulously, from encrypted chats with Derek plotting to exploit Austin's fame for our share, to browser tabs on inheritance claims and searches for private investigators. My rejections stoked their ambition. Each "I can't do this now" message I sent pushed them to press harder, escalating to voicemails offering reunion funds, if you'll just talk, and more packages, like tech gadgets engraved with family crests. When Derek intensified his role, Shannon captured his messages proposing to play on her guilt for a cut of the inheritance, his desperation clear after his startup collapsed. I dropped hints in traced calls, secured by Shannon, casually mentioning Austin's project could be worth millions if scaled, watching their responses spike with greed through increased surveillance hits. Their missteps piled up quickly. My parents cornered Austin at a coffee shop near his office with forced smiles. Their pleas for family time to make up for lost years met his polite deflection, coached by me beforehand. Andrea's social media posts mourned an estranged kin seeking closure, but Shannon tied them to hired influencers amplifying the narrative for sympathy, exposing their staged pity through bot traffic analysis. Every move lured them into overreaching, their growing aggression signaling they were ready for the fall. Their reckless emails and calls provided the ammunition to seal their fate. Their desperation became my leverage. I sowed discord by planting anonymous emails through Shannon's untraceable accounts. One to my parents hinted Derek was siphoning their reunion funds for his debts. Another to Derek suggested my parents planned to exclude him once they secured Austin's wealth. Their replies grew frantic. Patrick's messages to Derek demanded answers, accusing betrayal. Derek retorted, "You're the one stringing me along." I fueled the chaos with false intel, slipping into a call with Andrea that Austin's software patent was valued at $10 million. Her voice sharpened with greed as she whispered to Patrick about our stake. Shannon rigged call recorders to capture every word. Their threats escalated from "you owe us family access" to "we'll sue for what's ours if you keep avoiding us." Derek's voicemails grew bolder, his tone oily as he pressed, "Think of Austin's future, Chelsea." I'm his father, after all, unaware the trap was closing. I leaked a forged document to their lawyer, a mock trust fund clause implying Austin's wealth was tied solely to my approval, sparking their frantic emails about forcing a settlement. Shannon's tools captured everything from Patrick's late-night searches for Grandparent Rights Texas to Derek's encrypted chats with a shady consultant about exploiting emotional weak spots. I kept my responses wounded. I'm not ready to talk. Each refusal heightened their impatience, pushing them to overplay their hand. Their distrust peaked when Patrick confronted Derek in a recorded call. "You're playing us for fools," while Derek snapped, "You never trusted me from the start." The tipping point came swiftly. Their lawyer filed a lawsuit for grandparent visitation and inheritance claims, citing familial ties that never existed. Shannon intercepted the court filing, her analysis exposing sloppy errors that Sean capitalized on, drafting counter-documents to dismantle their lies. My parents' final gambit was a public post on an Austin business forum, pleading for sympathy with "We just want our grandson back." The evidence mounted, their reckless demands crumbling, their own words the noose tightening around their scheme. The stage was set for their downfall. Austin's keynote at the Austin Tech Summit, attended by industry leaders and cameras, opened with a nod to chosen family. His voice steady in a sharp blazer, not a suit, signaling his independence. I had coached him to begin broadly, speaking of loyalty over blood, setting the tone as eyes fixed on the front row table where Patrick, Andrea, and Derek sat. Their polished facades hid the greed I had baited. The screen behind Austin lit up with Kayla's video, her presence silencing the room as she declared, "Family is who stands by you, not who claims you when you succeed." Her words targeted those who abandoned me. Next came the legal strike. Sean stepped to the podium with a folder, his tone precise as he displayed a document they signed 22 years ago, projected in bold text. "We, Patrick Norton and Andrea Norton, relinquish all rights to Chelsea Norton and any offspring, born or unborn." Gasps swept the room, phones capturing their undeniable signatures. Then the emails, Shannon's intercepts flashing on screen, revealed their scheme to exploit Austin's fame and Derek's push to manipulate my guilt for millions, their own words exposing their plot. The final blow was my voice, calm but sharp as I stood and faced them. "You demanded my child, but there was no child. Your cruelty caused a miscarriage, and Austin is my adopted son, not your blood." The room buzzed with murmurs, their faces collapsing under the truth's weight. No grandchild to claim, no wealth to seize. Security moved in as Sean announced emergency restraining orders served on the spot to Patrick, Andrea, and Derek, barring contact. Their humiliation streamed live on Austin's tech feeds. I watched them escorted out, heads bowed under the crowd's scrutiny, my satisfaction cold and complete, knowing their empire of deceit had shattered publicly. Their collapse was just the start. The fallout from the Austin Tech Summit spread rapidly across local networks, with clips of Patrick and Andrea's exit garnering millions of views on social platforms within days. Their small real estate firm lost 3 major contracts overnight, clients citing reputational damage as the video trended under hashtags exposing their greed. Within a week, their company's board removed Patrick as chairman, his decades of connections severed as partners distanced themselves from the scandal. They sold their Austin home at a loss, a modest ranch compared to their former status, and moved to a cramped condo in Scottsdale, their social circle shrinking as neighbors whispered about their fall. Derek's fate was grimmer. His emails to my parents, flagged by Shannon's contacts at a local accounting firm, tipped off the IRS to his hidden offshore accounts. A federal audit uncovered $500,000 in unpaid taxes, leading to charges carrying up to 3 years in prison. I offered no mercy, my silence deliberate as their worlds unraveled. Their pleas for mediation went unanswered, while Sean ensured their legal challenges against Kayla's will failed in court. The Kayla Rodas Foundation for Young Women became my victory, funded with $1 million from her estate to support single mothers in Texas with housing and job training. At the opening event, surrounded by grateful faces, I turned to Sean, pulling a ring from my pocket. "Will you make this family official?" I asked, my voice firm, his smile broad as he accepted, Austin cheering beside us. The foundation's first grant went to a 19-year-old coder, her toddler in tow, her eyes bright with hope I had once lost. Revenge, served cold, is the sweetest, a lesson etched into my core. Protect yourself by building a life so strong it eclipses those who tried to destroy you. This story of justice stands as a testament to resilience.